Hey everybody, how's it going? As you can probably tell, we are not in my shop. We are at my uncle's shop. And the reason for that is for two big reasons. The first one is that I have completely destroyed the transmission on the car. Well, not completely, but I'll get into that later. The other reason is that all my tools, a lot more of my tools are here and I'll be able to work on the car a little bit better. But yesterday I did a little bit of work off camera and I'll explain more about the transmission. So, here we go. So the biggest problem I had with the transmission was that this back cover would not go on no matter what I tried. It would get on and it'd be about like an 1/8 of an inch gap between the transmission and the back cover. I was being dumb and I figured that, you know what, let's just zip it on with bolts, it'll probably work. By doing that though, I cracked this cover. So I had to order another one. I had to go through and look into it. It turns out the output shaft from my donor transmission and the race in my original transmission were not compatible. So I ended up having a bearing that was pushing my output shaft out and is keeping my cover from going closed. And because of that, the transmission actually locked up and it wouldn't let me move the car at all. So I had to disassemble the whole thing again. I had it towed down here. Me and my uncle figured out the transmission problem. Excuse me, I'm a little sick. Me and my uncle figured out the transmission. We ordered the right bearing, got it switched out. Transmission all went back together, just smooth as butter. Drive shaft fits, everything bolts up nicely. I believe that is all 100% figured out. Now, this clip I'm showing right here, a big problem I had with this car was that the previous owner just pretty much shoved whatever lug nuts he had on it. And because of that, it chewed up my studs and chewed up the lug nuts. So I actually need to order new lug nuts, but before I can do that, I need to clean up and fix these studs I've got. See right here, I've got a tap. I'm cutting them to the dimensions they should be. I was able to get all 4 wheels cleaned up, put together, and we're going on. Took a look at my brake lights. It turns out the reason why they didn't work is because I got lenses with no bulbs in them. So, got that figured out. I've got the back half of my exhaust in. Just based on the way it sits, I really hope it sounds good. I'm pretty excited for that. But yeah, the car's up in the air. I got a couple things I got to do here and there. I will be working on it in between cars here at the shop. So I don't know how much I'll film, but I will try to film as much as I can. Oh, I just saw that. We'll go ahead and fix that real quick. Perfect. Okay, so the next real tricky thing I gotta tackle in this car is this differential bolt is not tight at all. The problem is the bolt has broken loose in the nut, and the nut is inside the frame. So I gotta figure out how to get to that nut and how to hold it. Probably the thing to do is gonna be to drill a hole in the side of my frame right there, stick a wrench in, grab it, then just spin the bolt out. Yeah. Okay, so today we're starting on my exhaust system. We've got a nice muffler from a brand that I'll put up on the screen right now. And straight pipe pretty much all the way up to here. Between here and here is a section of pipe that has a catalytic converter in it. I don't have that. I have a catalytic converter up here, so I'm not going to worry about putting a cat in it. We're just going to run a pipe that way and we'll be good to go. The only issue is that this is 2-inch That's 3-inch. So what in between here, we got to step up. So starting on my pipe there, we'll see how it goes from here. Okay, as you see, the exhaust is rubbing a little bit on the body right here. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna, there. Okay, that's her all welded up. Just need to throw her back up in the car. That's the exhaust all done. Okay, so we just about got the front end figured out. On the rear end though, the parking brake cables are kind of just hanging loose, and this car was being parted out. So I sure hope everything's still there. Shit. Alright, so this has been a really kind of a crappy, choppy video just because I've been trying to work on the car in between doing other stuff at work. Let's give you guys one quick final rundown though for this video. I have the engine all together. It's full of coolant now. Front suspension's all dialed in and tight. We did have to replace a ball joint on this front end. Rear end is taken apart because we need to put our brake shoes on. That'll show up tomorrow, but I'll do that just off camera real quick because I don't know how well that's gonna go. Transmission is in and together. I have my exhaust all in and done. Did a little bit of interior stuff, nothing really crazy. And that is that. So I will see you guys next video. Thanks for liking and subscribing.